This video was brought to you by Squarespace.com.
Are you planning on picking up Mario Strikers? Gonna order Splatoon 3? Have you picked up Switch Sports yet? What about Mario Golf? Mario Tennis? Pfft, Animal Crossing? Well, if you did, I've got a question for you. Do you regret it? All these games have suffered from the same bad practice of being released lacking in content, with free DLC updates planned for later. And at first, I didn't really think much of this. It's free, why should I complain? But the more the years went by, and the more I saw it happen to the series I cared about, the more I realized that this is bloody annoying! This release format for games has progressively gotten worse and worse since the Switch was released. So let's find out how we got here, why it's a genuine problem, and if there's any solutions to this release now, update later bad practice Nintendo is seemingly obsessed with. Kind of like how I'm obsessed with saying Squarespace, the sponsor of this video. Squarespace! Having your own website is a fantastic way to make your mark on the internet. Whether you're blogging, showcasing your portfolio, or selling something to build your business, Squarespace is the place. Oh, I wish I had a place to host my video library and monetize what I've made. Squarespace! You can upload your entire video library to your incredibly aesthetic website using the thousands of customizable templates. And if you choose, sell access to those videos. Oh, but I wish I could monetize more than just videos. Oh, I wish. Squarespace! If you have anything you want to keep under a premium, use the member areas feature to sell access to whatever you're creating. Oh, this is cool and all, but how can I tell if my site is doing well? Actually, I have no idea. Just kidding!
Squarespace!
See how well your site is doing and what you can improve upon using Squarespace's plethora of analytics at your disposal to improve your website and grow your business. So what are you waiting for? Go on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to show your site to the world, go to squarespace.com/getmadz to save 10% off your first purchase of your website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. It's 2015, it's summer, and geez Louise, Nintendo's making a shooter. Move out the way, Duck Hunt, you fucking son of a bitch. There's a new shooty game in town. Oh, but this wasn't just any shooty game. This game in particular got us Wii U owners quite excited. Nintendo's shifting the focus of eliminating the enemy team to the game mechanic of painting the stage was refreshing enough by itself. The visuals for this could have easily just been a Mario spin-off with Luigi's running rampant. But instead, we got something entirely new. Cephalopods and friends. Splatoon is a bloody good time. Not only was the ink mechanic such a fresh idea for the gameplay, but it also helped curate an incredibly cool, creative, and interesting aesthetic for this world. Even with the game only releasing with just 5 maps and a campaign, it didn't matter. This substantial leap of introducing a new IP with gameplay we've never seen before more than made up for it. Following in Splatoon's footsteps, ARMS. Released in June 2017, this long-range boxing game seemed to have a lot of fun ideas put into it, especially for character designs. Come on guys, Min Min, Kid Cobra, Helix! ARMS had an okay variety at launch with its arenas and characters, but added 5 more later down the line as free DLC. But it didn't really solve the issues the game had. Maybe if the initial release of the game was more bulky with a plethora of different game modes, built upon the concept of long-range boxing more, this free content would be nothing more than what it is, more variety. But instead, it left a lot of us thinking, this is the solution? Like, it's fun, but the game was just too simplistic at its core. However, similar to Splatoon, I feel like we can let this game slide just a little bit for simply being something new. Unlike Nintendo's existing library of IP, you don't have an expectation of what the game will be like you would from buying a sequel. Nintendo can't get away with treating Mario sports games or Animal Crossing like GoFundMe pages because I'll just compare them to my childhood. Oh wait, they did, and I am. Forget the fun of unlocking characters to skill, get a new character once a month. This is the future. You know all those features you're used to having in Animal Crossing that aren't here at launch? Well, don't worry, we're putting them on the dog's campsite. What do you mean these features are inferior to previous entries and realizing that makes you sad? Just craft a tissue box. You couldn't do that in New Leaf. Mario Golf Super Rush? Did you not see what we did there? Nintendo Switch Sports, what's Swordplay Showdown mode? Is dual wielding not enough gameplay variety for you? We hope you look forward to golf in 9 months. But now, with the Mario Strikers Battle League, all we really have is hope? No window of release, no confirmation of which character is coming out. We're just hoping that Daisy will turn up later. Well, what about Splatoon? How's that doing? Not gonna lie, kinda reminds me of Overwatch 2. As cool and exciting as it is to be getting a third installment for Splatoon, unfortunately, there seems to be hardly any truly noticeable differences that set it apart. Splatoon 2 was for a new console. That made sense. But all Splatoon 3 does is make Splatoon 2 more useless and less desirable to play. People were complaining that Smash 4 and Ultimate were close. Do you see this? What if Ultimate was on Wii U? Actually, what about Smash Ultimate? Or even Mario Kart 8 DX? Their DLC just adds more maps and characters, so what's wrong with these games doing the same thing? Well, something to bear in mind is that those DLCs are paid. Nintendo notoriously doesn't like giving things out for free. Like with the Wii, Reggie had a push to make Wii Sports included with the console. I learned that from Reggie's book, you should read it, it's actually really good. Smash Bros or Mario Kart add paid DLC fighters and tracks to their games because they are already fully realized experiences. You are paying for more fun and variety out of what you already enjoy. These free updates, on the other hand, are presented in their marketing like they owe you a full experience for buying the game. Maybe it even gives your imagination the chance to speculate what they could add. Could free roam come to Nintendo Switch Sports? But even without speculation, if I bought a game and it feels only 60% done, it wouldn't be weird for me to expect these promised updates to eventually fully realize the game to its maximum potential. They're adding stuff they initially couldn't for release. But if a game feels like it's only 60% done, and we expect the other 40% as free DLC updates, chucking every bloody feature on the campsite isn't a solution. More variety on an unfinished game doesn't solve that missing 40%. It just makes the players and fans bummed out. But it makes sense why they did that. There's no obligation for them to make these free updates as good as they can possibly be, because these games have already been released. With the first Splatoon, you're justifying the purchase of this game by being an early ambassador, trying a new weird multiplayer experience like nothing else. Same goes for ARMS to a lesser extent. They're both new IPs. The player does not have existing expectations. But when it comes to games we're already familiar with and already have expectations for, this feels ugly. For these types of games purely lacking in content at launch, it's doing a direct disservice to the players. There's no benefit to buying them at launch. This model is a double-edged sword for these games because after all the updates, the player may be happy, but they may have already dropped the game at this point. With these planned DLC releases, you're risking the incomplete game being remembered as exactly that. And seeing the same bad practice over and over again, it's gonna end up with more and more people looking back at these games with bad tastes in their mouths. And then, years from when these games are released, how are we going to remember them? Fondly? Not likely, especially when compared to previous installments from the games' series. But for Nintendo, sure, this model might have a bunch of uses. Only develop the minimum amount to launch the game, distribute the extra dev time depending on how the game is sold, keep the game relevant in players' minds just like Fortnite. But therein lies the problems. So while releasing these games unfinished may be beneficial for Nintendo in the short-term sales, they're essentially trading their respect and reputation for keeping a game relevant past release. And if a game company can get away with fooling players like this, how about Breath of the Wild 2 only starts with 2 dungeons with 4 more promised later in the year? If Nintendo wants to frame these games like a live service model with frequent updates, those games update way more frequently and usually don't cost $59.99. Even if you compare these games to Minecraft, that takes months for updates, that's already a fully developed game, and now they're slowly and methodically adding more content to it. Although 1.19 was a bit shit, the only reason Nintendo is keeping the game relevant is by making players wait to get what they expected. So what's the deal? Do these games equal no fun whatsoever? Well, of course not, it's a game. It would be doing a pretty shit job if it wasn't fun. But knowing the potential of live service games, knowing how useful updating a game after it's already released can be, knowing that I can see my favorite game change alongside me is incredibly magical at its core. And it sucks to know that some of these fan favorite series are making players wish to go back to a simpler time where games stayed the same without this modern logic behind free updates that makes all of us : open bracket. But that doesn't mean there aren't solutions to these problems. If companies are going to continue to do this, they need to respect the early players. And I'm not talking about a special in-game item or an exclusive profile picture. I'm talking about having a game that you don't regret buying. This really shouldn't be a high bar for Nintendo. I think they can achieve this pretty easily in 4 different ways. Finish and release a game up to standards of previous entries and what a player would expect in content amounts, even if it means having the game delayed. Make it a genuine live service experience, full force with support. If you do decide to release a game incomplete, keep it exclusive to experimental titles outside of established series. Or No Man's Sky this shit. Call up Sean Murray for some advice. He'll know what to do, that living legend. It's unfair for players to deal with the release now, update later approach when there's an expectation of content from previous entries in the series. Reminder, we should not be worrying if Daisy is gonna be in Mario Strikers. So, video game companies, if you're listening, if for some reason you have to use this model of game design, please keep it exclusive to only new experimental series and franchises if it's ever necessary. And for the other titles, deliver in volume, new ideas, and push the series forward without taking compromises. And for the fans like you and me, let's show these companies that we're fed up with this by speaking with our wallet. And I bought Mario Strikers already. Or, you know, you could just support indie games. You should probably go do that. Do that now. Big ol' thanks to Babity, Ultimate145, and Prince Roro for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much. As well as everyone else you see on screen for supporting me on Patreon. Really, really appreciate it. Second, look at this. Look at this. A beautiful poster me and everyone in the Discord made. This was a really fun summer event we did. And we have a new art event coming up very, very soon. And maybe it has something to do with a future video. Whoa, so if you want to be in a future video, baby. Actually, we just recorded something. The next video was like a thing in the Discord, and it turned out really, really great. So look forward to that video next. And in the meantime, if you want any more RT Nintendo-y goodness, click one of the videos you see on screen and check out the Discord. We have plenty of cool events going on in there.